leverage our zone of genius and clarified the difference between our zone of excellence and our zone of genius. So a zone of excellence might be things that you get pulled into because you're good at it. It doesn't mean that that's necessarily the best use of your time. So what we're really looking at is where are you continuing every single week to up level, bringing out your zone of genius and your inner diva. So I'm just waiting again for Matt to do his, you know, I'm living for that each week. I know it's not going to be an every week occurrence, but I can hope. And so I think basically what we're looking for in the updates is just, I want you guys to be present to each week. How are we starting to do that more and more? So that's what we're thinking on is just this last week. How were you able to really, you know, continue to up level that?
Great. And that will be the same question every week. So come prepared, having thought about it. The reason we're doing this is your zone of genius is something that you sort of explore, you excavate. It's in us, but we don't necessarily know what it is. And so we want to get into, you know, conversation exploration around it throughout the game. All right.
Okay, whoever's pounding on their keyboard, I'm going to have you mute. We're going to get started. First, I think as part of the grounding exercise, what I want everybody to do is just, whether you're sitting or standing, just take a few minutes. And what I want you guys to do is just stomp your feet. Just stomp them back and forth for a minute. Just kind of connect that we're here and what are we doing and why. So just take a few minutes just to move around a little bit, stomp your feet. And then just really being present. This is our time together. This is our 1 hour together doing this. Awesome, Erica, I love it. Just time together right now for this hour. So just trying to really check in and be fully present. So awesome. All right. Ready for the song, Raj. We're just so ready for a new song.
All right, queuing it up. Let's see how this goes. There we go. I don't know where to start it. I just got the link that you showed me.
We don't need to watch the whole video every time. It's kind of creepy.
So yeah, so far this looks like Bob brought it to the group. This is pretty spooky.
All right. There's a section. There's a section that I like at the end that I'll queue up for you, Raj, and show you where to go because it's a little bit more consistent. So awesome.
Here is a game.
I'm surprised that made it through HR.
You know, it wasn't, that's, first of all, I don't love the video. And secondly, my favorite part of the song is more toward the end. So I'll send Raj the clip that we would like to focus on. I just sent him the whole link.
Okay.
Clearly need to dial it in a little bit more.
That's great. That's funny. Okay, awesome. So
Nick apartment fail.
So this is our launch of our Unleash Your Inner Diva, Find Your Zone of Genius 90-day game. Start date today, 3/20, and end date of the 9th of June. So 3 full months, and great job, everybody. First of all, I just want everybody just to make some noise about all the work, the awesome on-site that we had, and the work that all of you did to get ready for today. So let's make some noise. Awesome, awesome. And we're doing some things a little differently this game in that we're combining meetings and we're shifting up the meeting format according to your feedback. And we'll have a consistent agenda for this meeting. We'll be honing and refining it over the next couple of weeks because we're shifting things up. So we want to make sure that we get done what we want to get done. And we'll always be starting the beginning with the chat check-in. Libby's going to be leading our grounding exercise and our little theme song, and we'll figure out how best to do our theme song. Maybe we all wear our Inner Diva hat each week or something like that. We are going to be starting the meeting at 10. We kind of got into this 10:05 habit. So at 10 o'clock, you should be on Zoom and answering the chat check-in question. Okay, any questions about 10 o'clock start? And if you're talking, maybe mute yourself, Matt, we can hear your conversation. So Libby, why don't you take it away with company? I'll just tell you the general format of the meeting and then we'll get into it. So we'll start with company updates. Libby will start, then Eric will have his updates, and then Matt's gonna do a metrics update. So that's how we're gonna start. Sorry, we're actually gonna announce the inner diva right at the start of the meeting. Libby will tell us how that's gonna go in just a minute. Then we'll do the company updates, Libby, Eric, and then Matt with metrics. I'll do a couple of updates in terms of the week flow and any important reminders for the week, and then we'll get into our Power Talk time. The Power Talk time is going to have a lot more space for open discussion this time. You're actually only going to be reporting on one thing that you want to highlight to the team in terms of like what's up for this week. We're going to follow the general pattern of how you completed your previous week. As we did it in last game. We'll get to some of those details when we get to that section of the meeting, but that's the general flow. As I said, we'll be modifying things a little bit here and there just to make sure we cover what we need to in terms of leadership conversations and like that. Libby, anything you want to add before you just jump into your section?
No, I'm just going to have you screen share that document that I sent you so that I can show the visuals for people of what we're doing.
Right.
So let's start with talking about our inner diva of the week. Just so you guys know, this will be in the game system by Wednesday, but Raj and I were still fleshing it out this morning, so we don't have it in the game system yet, but it is ready to go. So he's just going to do a screen share of the doc that I put together for that so we can see it. We decided that it would be helpful to have everybody has an assigned week that they are going to be responsible for recognizing somebody else on the team. So it's really important. I'm going to show this right here. You can see the person recognized is the diva. The by whom is the person that's responsible for recognizing the diva. The submission date is the Friday by which I need to receive it in Slack so that I can put it in the game system. And then the recognized on is the date of the WAM when you will be sharing your share with everybody. So basically, just to give an example, and I did with this try to be mindful of the live event date for the people who were impacted by that and tried to stay away from that. So if there's other issues, we can look at it. So for example, Danielle is going to be responsible for recognizing Casey on this next Monday, the 27th. So she will have to have her recognition done by Friday. Now, this is the part that I'd like to ask everybody to weigh in on and help a little bit. While Danielle is responsible for taking the lead on that recognition for Casey, I think it would be really cool if people could help also weigh in. There's things that ways in which I work with Danielle that she, things that I see that maybe, or I'm sorry, the ways that I work with Casey that I may want to give input that Danielle may or may not do. So giving that insight would be really, really helpful. So if you have things that you want to share, just note the dates of these different recognitions and send your information to the person who's responsible for recognizing that person by that Thursday so that they can get it included in their updates. So before I move on, what questions do you guys have about the diva of the week?
Do we have to be really specific in our phrases, like, oh, Casey did XYZ on?
So right above it is the instructions. What we want you to do is share at least 2 of our core values. How does Casey model at least 2 of the core values? So there's a link to the core values there. And so it could just be, I see or have noticed Casey models the core values in the following way. And I think when we have specifics, that's really nice. And you guys know who works with these people closely. So I did my best to try to match people with people that I know would have some lens into what they're doing. But that said, please feel free to reach out to other people as well. And Casey's ready to write her own, as we can see from the chat. So it's all good.
I have a real concern about the 15th of May because it'll be HCI Live Week. I don't know who's being recognized that day, but just out of honor and respect of that person, maybe we want to figure something out.
So one option, the game is scheduled to end on the 20th. So I was trying, this is pretty much mapped out with different people in the game. So one solution could be, I tried to move it so that Ohm and Matt, like Ohm is going to be going with Matt that week, so that it would be, hopefully you guys will be done with Lucas, and Erica will be done. Erica will be done with recognizing Lucas that week before we leave, because HCI Live doesn't start till like the 16th. It's like the 16th through the 21st.
Cool. I was joking.
Yeah. Well, I thought through it, so.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's the section on the Inner Diva of the week. So please note, I will also be following up with calendar invites. I will be sending those to the person who is responsible, so that is on your calendar as well, so that you'll know and put it in there. So you guys please make a note of it, and I will send you a calendar invite.
Quick question.
The second
Libby.
part I want to talk about.
Do we want to have
Yeah.
an Inner Diva channel in Slack?
I don't know, because I don't know that I want everybody to see what's going to be shared before it's shared.
Okay. You and I will talk offline. Okay. Great.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is the one-on-one coaching with Raj. We've changed this up slightly. In the past, it was Raj had 2 30-minute sessions per week. He's going to be changing this and having one 1-hour session a week. So what I've done is just kind of plugged people into those spots. My request is this: please look at the date when you're scheduled. Raj, please double check my dates. I think we said it was going to be Thursdays from 12 to 1 p.m. PST.
right.
Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
So Danielle, you're scheduled for this Thursday. I'm sorry, next Thursday, the 30th, right? Yeah. It'll be 3 our time. So if you are not able to do that time, it's going to be your responsibility to find somebody else that is able to go then and change with them.
I guess, Libby, just like that day is a day that several of us are actually in a fixed meeting for the last 2 years. So I just put that out there, like that might not be the day to start with.
Okay.
Which date? The 30th?
The 12 to 1 Pacific on Thursdays.
Oh,
is not
okay.
good for most people on that list, or at
Okay.
least the third.
Okay.
Okay.
So
So
if
then,
you can, Raj can put a different day. Almost any other time would be better than that one.
Okay. Libby, how do you want to handle? You want to follow up, and we'll let people know. We want.
no, I would like to see if go ahead and throw out another time that you have, Raj, and let people, while we're all on the call, I think it's better to do it while we have everybody weighing in.
Okay.
Because it really comes down to that time with you, and that way I can go.
Right. Is Friday 12 to 1 a workable time?
That's another. That's another same kind of problem. We have another fixed meeting.
So we
then.
should probably stay away from the 12 to 1 hours,
Okay.
what I'm hearing.
Thursday 11 to noon. Sorry, Friday 11 to noon. Friday 11 to noon.
Any concerns with Friday from 11 to 12 PST? Okay, going once. All right, we will go with Friday from 11 to 12 PST. So I will go through, change those dates, and send calendar invites.
Got it.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Great.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you for that. And so just a reminder, I will get that sent out, but if you look at your date and you cannot do the Friday of the week, it'll just be adjusted by 1 day. So if you look at that and you can't do the Friday from 11 to 12 PST, it's your responsibility to find somebody to switch with and get that communicated, updated in the sheet. I'll share the sheet with everybody by Friday, and I'll send out the calendar invite. But I just want to know that it's all set and locked in, because this saves Raj and I from every week having to say, who should have coaching this week? It just makes it easier. And that way I know everybody gets a chance. So,
Right.
Any questions?
Okay, so treat these as like unmovable calendar items in your calendar. So just, make sure you go through the exercise to make sure these times work. Okay? All right, sweet. Moving on. Maybe some other things on the agenda for you?
Let's see. So the other thing we wanted to talk about is training schedule. So we wanted to talk about
Hey,
doing
Raj,
the
can you take down the agenda right now so I can see everybody's face? Thank you.
We wanted to talk about the agenda for Transformance training. In the past, we were doing every other week for a half an hour. My personal take on this is I think we need a little bit more space to have some conversation in addition to the training. Also, I don't know that the training that we're going through on this call will be used to roll out to the rest of the team. We would probably do that a little bit differently, more based on examples of how we see this living and breathing and some examples at HCI. So this training that I'm proposing and suggesting would be just for this group of people at this point. One of the things we talked about was having this every other week. We talked about Thursday, either from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. or from Thursday from 11 to 12. So wanted to see, it would be every other week. And the other question was the start date. What Raj and I have determined for the first two topics. One, Lucas, I wanted to circle up with you on the Mr. Biv form and see if we could have that be our first training, the process of using that. We had agreed to consolidate it. So that would be our first training. I'm echoing, sorry.
If someone
And then the second would be on delegation. So I guess there's two questions on the table. The first is, can we start, do we want to start this week or next week? It would be a 1 hour time block every other week. And would we have it from 10 to 11 or 11 to 12 on Thursday?
Okay, I guess I would say 10 to 11 on Thursdays is going to work better.
And that's Pacific time.
Yeah, in terms of start, I guess we could evaluate that based on this meeting and what feels right. My sense is not to start this week and to start the following.
I think people already had stuff scheduled a lot this week. That's the challenge. I just wanted to at least throw it out there for people.
Yeah, we've invested heavily on the front end just in regards to the last couple of weeks. So I feel like we can take a break this week in regards to that and come back to it.
Okay. So then what I'll do is send out the calendar invite, and we would look at having it start next Thursday, which would be 3:30 from 10 to 11.
You know, let me just look at my schedule on that.
Okay.
But I don't think that should revolve around me anyway. So.
Well, Eric, I'm in the same boat. I'm on vacation next week. So we're always going to have the key would be the best time to start it. And then with the Transformance trainings, we will record those. So if somebody does miss it, of course we want to try to have everybody there, but if somebody's off, they could watch it and catch up.
Yep. I think that works for me. So.
Okay. Any other questions or concerns?
So what was the conclusion? Starting
3:30
30th
from 10 to 11.
10 to 11.
So
Okay.
I'm going to be following up our meeting today with a lot of calendar invites for you guys.
Okay. And the first topic is going to be the Mr. Biv form, right?
Yep.
Okay.
I would love to go second if possible.
Can we do delegation first, Raj? I have two thoughts for that. I would like to participate on the Mr. Biv with Lucas because he and I have worked on it, and I'm not available on the 30th.
Yeah, Matt, great, thanks. I'm sort of okay. I'm sort of not okay with that because that's a month before we get the Mr. Biv form in play, and that's something that's going to bite us. Like the Mr. Biv form was to deal with how do we deal with things that aren't working, et cetera, and we need to know that sooner than later. I would like to get that done sooner than a month.
Okay.
Is that a bandwidth issue for you, Lucas, to finish the form? I can spend an hour with you.
Well, also to think through it and make sure that when it's delivered to the team, it's really valuable versus just presenting something. So yeah, the next 2 weeks are pretty slammed for me, and to add another thing to be accountable for the quality that I'm committed to if I'm responsible for it.
Okay.
Why don't we launch a Mr. Biv beta and just kind of put it out as beta and come back to it so that, just start where we are.
It'll be good to get feedback from the
I feel
team.
like enough has been invested in it that it's worth a beta.
Cool. Raj, let you and I talk about it and go over what I created already and see how we envision it being received by the team and impacting us in a real way, a valuable way.
Great. I'll follow up with you on that.
I
Okay.
think that's it for my updates, Raj.
Okay, good.
Something is better than nothing.
Yeah, MVP. And then dial it in. Okay, I'll follow up with you, Lucas. All right, so Eric, it's on to you for company updates. And I'm going to put I'll put a 5-minute on it. If you need more, we can take it, but just to have some sort of
Cool.
container. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give you
I feel very good about where we are. In looking at the webinar attendance numbers, we're already over 15% above where we were last term. And then we actually have 15% less leads that's against. So that's a net 30% increase in webinar attendees. So, if that doesn't increase the close rate as expected, then what I'd say that's something we could fix, essentially. But I feel really good about the funnel. Essentially, that improvement in the funnel, it can pay dividends in itself. And so excited about that, feeling like, just that combined with the feeling on the enrollment team and their enthusiasm towards just how it feels and the progress that we've made. It's good. It's great. Right now, it's, top level, it's how do we redefine our story based on where we are today. So for me, it's moving from market disruptor to market leader. And we kind of came in, 2 women blazing a trail. And now how do we make it, it's us and a collective of powerhouses blazing a trail. So excited for how we visually show that at first, like how do we redesign our landing pages and redesign our website to better tell that holistic story around really, we are the only place if you're considering this as a career. And it's just like owning it in a way that it's obvious. It's like there's no one who matches what we've done in this niche. And along those lines, I'm super excited to be hiring this video editor who's essentially going to come in, and thank you, Libby, for pushing that forward, and Casey for making that happen. And I think that's game changing for us in regards to the big bottleneck on our business was not leveraging so much amazing content. So I believe we start with A&HC faculty and the video editing around what they've already said. They've, we find the sparks and we integrate it into our website and integrate it more into our story. And then, I'm really excited about condition-specific health coaching. And I think that that's gonna be the theme of how we sell ourselves and sell this profession. That this is about, just like health coach is better than life coach. Well, diabetes wellness coach is better than health coach. And we need to own this cutting edge protocols that we've created. And we've got to turn it into new, powerful niche professions that feed the biggest problem of the healthcare system, which is 86% of costs being allocated to a small percent of people. And so we got to heal those people. And there's the ROI and the metrics behind it. And then last, a collective mind question is, what are the connection and network assets that we're sitting on today that we're not leveraging, that with some thoughtfulness and technology, we could provide a platform that, even if we're not monetizing, is creating a better future. And I trust that there'll be, a healthy business in it as well. But essentially, what's the low-hanging fruit that we're sitting on that we have not deployed yet that would help better leverage our connection to people? One sec. Hop up. Yeah, so that's good. That's it.
Eric, were you able to connect with Liz? Did you talk to her?
Not yet.
Okay.
Nope. One sec.
So the other thing we wanted to touch base on briefly is just the duration for this meeting. I know one of the things that was a challenge.
One sec before you do that. Is there anything that anyone wants to say about anything that Eric just said? Doesn't have to be, but. Okay.
Spot on.
Woohoo! Awesome.
Good.
Awesome. Good. It's just something to acknowledge that was all heard. Awesome. Okay, Libby, go for it.
Thank you.
One of the things that we wanted to talk about was the duration of this meeting. I know we had some challenges. Erica has a huddle before, Lucas has a huddle afterward. We really do feel like we need, an hour and 15 at minimum, probably an hour and a half, since we're only going to be meeting once a week. So we just wanted to see, I think the general recommendation is to try to have it be from 10 to 11:30. Just wanted to see if that's something that we can make work and what the timeline might be on that.
Oop. Sorry, that was Erica jumping on. I just killed somebody, I think. Okay. Go ahead, Libby.
So I think the question on the table is, can we plan on 10 to 11:30, and what will it, Lucas, especially, I think the timeline that it might take to get on here.
So we have the email meeting at 11 a.m. Pacific on Mondays, and we've tried to move it a couple times. It just doesn't really work with Stacy's schedule because they have the office hours at noon Pacific, so we would end up losing out on her. We can maybe do like a couple times a month. We can go to 11:30 when she's not in the office hours, or we can discuss if Stacy needs to be active in the email meeting. But that's, we right now have tried to move the email meeting at tons of times, and we can't figure out another place for it.
Because Raj, the only other up level or possibility that I thought of, and this is kind of wonky, but like a 9:45 to 11:15, like on either end, just as a I'm just trying to come up with ways to make it work.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable.
I mean, that way, you guys could still have your marketing meeting. Maybe if two people have to peel off. I mean, I don't know. It's just a challenge to try to get it.
Yeah,
so
then it's going to conflict with 2 meetings instead of 1.
Okay. So we either have to do 9:30 to 11 or 10 to 11:30. So we just got to figure out what possibly could move. Erica, I know you're impacted by the 9:30 to 11 time, because that's your huddle. Erica, are you on?
You're muted, Erica.
She says yes, but I can't hear her. Erica, I can't hear you. I think you're muted.
I just unmuted you, Erica.
Oh, thanks. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, that is the current huddle time. Although I'm transitioning out of that over the next couple weeks. So it may not necessarily have to affect the whole group, until...
Well, I think it would be you and Val. So if we could have you and Val, it's only 1 day a week. But I mean, then we could do 9:30 to 11 and not have to worry about the 11 side.
Yeah. I mean, maybe we could work it so that Tracy runs that huddle completely. I mean, I hate to have Val miss 1/3 of the team huddles, but if that's the only thing standing in the way, then we can do it.
And the option is, you know, maybe you and Val alternate or something. We'll figure it out. But I think that's the only other option we're going to be able to come up with more people impacted on the opposite end.
Okay. So 9:30 to 11.
Going once, 9:30 to 11.
Yep.
Okay.
All
That'll
right.
become effective next Monday.
Okay.
I will adjust the time.
Okay, good. Nice job, everybody. So the next part of this meeting will be on company metrics, or, you know, the metrics report. And there's actually going to be 2 tiers of metrics reporting. One will be top level metrics, and that will be Matt reporting on those. And then in that section where everyone has some time to talk about their area, each person will be reporting on their area metrics. So we're going to really get into this metrics reporting rhythm. If you hadn't noticed, this game is highly outcomes based. Everything is we're working to attach to a metric either in your area or at the department level. I mean, at the top level company level. And so to keep the metrics conversation in the mix, we need to report on metrics every week. So Matt, I'm going to let you just do whatever you want with these. Actually, we should talk about now how we're going to have people get clear on their top 3 and anything else you want to say in the metrics realm. I'll bring up that sheet. And also I made some notes per our conversation today. I'll put them in a personal Slack channel to you for reference. So anything, Matt?
Yeah, so thank you, Rush.
Mm-hmm.
I would just add, you know, a critical part of this is going to be having everyone with their individual metrics aligned as closely as possible to those top 3 goals that we had agreed upon on site. We had spent a good deal of time on site talking about a lot of the metrics that we're going to be tracking. I think it would be helpful if there is some level of ownership for a lot of these metrics. It could be cross ownership, but everyone is going to have a couple metrics in their respective buckets that we're going to track over the course of this game. I know a lot of people are not necessarily clear on what those metrics should be, so I am requesting that by Thursday, everyone sends to me their, call it 2 to 4 metrics in their areas. And from there, once we identify and agree upon those metrics, we can benchmark them, set goals on what we want them to be for the upcoming game, and go from there. But I just request that people reach out to me by Thursday. If you have questions on what those metrics should be, that's fine, reach out. But collectively, we'll figure out what those 2 to 4 top level metrics should be by the end of this week, so we can move on with the benchmarking and the goals.
Raj, you're muted.
Great, sorry about that. So just to be clear on the timeline here, we've created a new spreadsheet for the area metrics. The old sheet is in this metrics workbook. If you want to just be looking and referencing and see what you had for the first game, there may be some overlap here. But you want to be checking out these other top-level company metrics. There's also suggestions for supporting metrics. You guys did some work down here in these tables. So you want to synthesize all of this information and get very clear on what your top 2 to 4 metrics are that either drive one of the top 3 company metrics or are an indicator of you having a really top-notch week. So we want to like see like what's that thing that drives your week focus. That could be one of your metrics as well. Now, one thing to note is I sense some level of confusion. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I sense some level of confusion on people owning their metrics, and we need to bring that to resolution by the end of this week and just like put a stake in the ground and say, here we go. Okay. So to do that, Thursday, get your metrics to Matt. Next week, we're going to make sure on what your benchmark score is. I put these notes in Slack, in the Zoom channel, and also what your goal is that you want to reach. Because then Nick Hebert is going to take that information and put it up in Vine, so that then every meeting, we're going to bring that up and you're going to report on your numbers and say anything that's pertinent to it. So any
The
questions?
only other thing that I would add to all this is like, I really don't want people to get nervous, afraid. If you don't know, just ask. Like, it's not about pressure and all this. It's just having us collectively work to speak the same language and get aligned on those top level goals. Like, these metrics are important, sure, but they're inputs to those top level goals. We all know how important each one of you guys are towards getting there. This is meant to really be helpful. So I really don't want people to feel nervous about this, or if there's anything that's unclear, we'll help you get clear.
Great, love that, nice. Okay, any questions about the timeline on metrics? You guys are gonna love when this gets up and running and churning. It's just gonna be amazing to see how our efforts are moving the needle on the numbers. Okay, very good. Eric, anything you want to add about metrics, or shall we move into the Power Talk time?
Nope, just love that it's happening.
Awesome, awesome. All right, very good. So we're going to move into the next section, which we have been calling your Power Talk time. And I'm just going to put the flow of that in chat. So 1 minute here. Metrics. And we'll play with the timing on this as we go. But something like this is how it's going to go. This week, obviously, we don't have a completion process, but I'm going to tell you how we'll do the completion process. But that's the flow of it, okay? And we'll have the timer up on screen. So that's roughly 1, 3. It's like 6 minutes per person, 7 minutes per person. I don't know. It's actually 8 minutes per person. I don't know that we need all that time, but that will be the boundaries, sort of the container, and we'll play with it and see how we do.
Given the time constraint that we have for today, each person's going to have like 2 minutes.
We're ending at 11. Okay. So let's just, each person just say what your top focus is of the week. Do that in under a minute, and then we'll have, sorry, how much time do we have then? 2 minutes per person?
We have about 18 minutes.
Okay. So we'll run it. We'll just see how we do. So each person say what your top focus is, and if there's any input from Eric, we'll do that. So let me just get the sheet up, and Casey, you'll take it away. All right. Share screen. Great. Can you all see the screen?
Yes, and I'm hearing somebody type. So if you're not Casey and not talking, can you mute? Thank you.
All right, Casey, what's the top thing that anyone needs to know about for what you're up to this week?
So for this week, I'm focusing on marketing materials for both ANHC and the life coaching certificate announcement. So we'll be ready to go with those ideally within the next 2 weeks.
Okay, any input for Casey?
Nope.
All right, moving on to Craig.
Yes, this week I'm going to work on updating the forecast for the actuals so we can get that kind of more in the working document stages. And then I'm going to shift to working on setup of NetSuite and to get a lot of that ready to go for us to go live April 1st on that system.
Nice.
Okay. Great. Danielle.
My focus this week is to work with Carrie to record some videos for the new lead nurture. Well, no, not new lead nurture, but for the BHC comms to reduce the income rate. She's still feeling sick, so I have to work into some other scheduling for ANHC and other things to accommodate making this happen by the March cohort.
Okay, anything for Danielle? All right, I'm going to leave like 10 seconds space, and then we'll keep going for each person just in case something comes to you. David.
Hey, good morning, everyone. My top focus this week is going to try to get some traction on these telemedicine companies, a few of them. I've still got some legwork to go with the top 5 target lists for development. Had a meeting with Sequoia last week. We're going to set up another meeting for the first week of April. And HCI Cares Initiative, March of Dimes Walk. Got to put that announcement out. Don't know if that's going to happen. I think I'm going to do that in April, first week of April, I think. And preparing for career service office hours this next Tuesday.
Okay. We need to figure out
I'll just
Go ahead, Nick.
I had my 2 points there. David, just in respect to the office hours, let us know about communicating that out, who to, and all that sort of stuff, and we'll make sure to include it in the comms, okay?
Yeah, because I know I'm supposed to send an email out to Chris by Thursday so he can send it out Friday, right?
Yeah, and well, Thursday the latest, ideally, and I think Chris said that he would help out in terms of setting those up to make sure we're using right accounts, right numbers, all that sort of stuff. So if you want to send us an email at any point, if you know you're not convinced that it's all buttoned up, let us know, and we'll make sure it is.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Great. Okay, moving on to Erica.
Hey guys, the main one that I'll bring up for this week is getting everything in place so that we can launch the change in the 1500 off. We're referring to that as the customized 1500 off promotion change. So spearheading, making sure everybody in different parts of the organization knows what we need in order to get that implemented. So that's the main one. The other two are listed.
Awesome.
Yeah, Erica, have you shared your plan broadly outside of the department, like the support know, success coach team know? Like, is everyone aware?
No, that's part of what I'm doing today, but also there are some people that know. So I did share it like with the email team, with content. I just haven't gone full company.
And we're also doing it in phases, less aggressively. So it's going to be more just the 1500 off and not a game associated with it initially. It's just the personalized 1500 off.
All right, very good. Libby.
So I have two big things. One is that Seema, who is my new person that's going to be working with me, started this morning. She's in Singapore, so she's exactly 12 hours opposite me. So we have some fun creative scheduling that we're doing both in the mornings and the evenings. But off to a great start with that. Really excited. My big thing is working with her to transition a lot. All of my stuff is in here. But the other big thing for all of you is that I will be on vacation next week for my kids' spring break. I'm going to try to be offline completely, which is probably going to be the first time that I've done that. First day off I've taken since Christmas, so I'm super excited.
Yeah.
And anything that impacts other people, like Eric, we can talk about, ask Eric. Anything next week I can't host, so if you want somebody else to host that, who should it be? Just anything like that I'm functioning doing, just want to make sure that we're covered. So that's the big thing for me, is just making sure we're doing that. Casey, trying to touch base on a Team World meeting this week with you, and Danielle and Casey would love to check in on some staffing stuff sometime either later this afternoon or tomorrow morning, if we can get that to happen.
Okay. Nice, Libby. Stoked for you.
Any questions? Me too.
Yeah. Hey, I think that's a good way to end it, rather than me always saying, hey, any input, any questions, is that the person that just reported ask any questions. And then, okay, just there needs to be some way to bring someone's reporting to an end. So just at the end, just say, hey, any questions or input. All right.
Nice.
Yeah, great. Take it away, Lucas.
All right. The biggest thing absolutely is preparing for BHC March 2017, these next 2 weeks. We've been preparing all along. It's time to button everything up. And the main metric that'll impact is refund rate. And then plenty of metrics down the line. We want to get off on the right foot with all of our students, as always, transitioning to group coaching, and then up-leveling our Facebook presence using Zoom, Facebook Live, etc. So that's the main focus this week, while also keeping all the balls in the air, moving things forward. And one thing I will add in there is just Matt, I'll be in touch about HCI Live attendance metrics per the email I sent over the weekend, just making sure on the same page. And thanks everybody who communicated about refund rate. I would love to finalize that as a company, like full agreement. We've had different suggestions, but full agreement, full ownership of what we're playing for March and May. I think that would make a difference. I know it would for me and my team, but across the board. Anybody, any questions or input?
Nope.
Okay, great. Nice. That's a nice way to close it. Matt, Livy and I were discussing if you'll have a weekly sheet in here just to capture some of the things you're working on. Your call.
Let's discuss it. I have some thoughts on that.
Okay, great. Nick.
Hello there. So the big highline item, I suppose, will be the BAC overhaul, just making sure that we stay on track. And that'll mean the production of the surveys and the issuing of those. And then once we've done that, we can move on to other things. Would you like me to run through the rest of the week? If I had to pick a highlight item, I would say that's the one.
Okay.
But I appreciate the pretty prompt. Any questions?
Yes, Nick, remember we were discussing exit interviews and them being incorporated within the required context of the course. Is that completed yet?
Exit interviews being required as part of the course. I must confess, I haven't got that on my radar. The last I heard about exit interviews, and forgive me because there's quite a lot of feedback or whatever going on here. Last thing about exit interviews that we discussed was looking to try and automate it, right? As part of the certification process, you can ask 1 or 2 questions and have that automatically put into buckets. But that was about 3 or so weeks ago, and I haven't touched exit interviews since.
This is Lucas. Could everybody mute? Is not on. This is Lucas. It's on my plate to take the last version of it and just create the next greatest version of it. And then we had posed the question to you, Nick, are you aligned with that? And I guess I hear you saying yes, that you are aligned with us making it
a certification requirement. I mean, I don't know. This feedback's driving me bananas, but I don't know about making something like that a certification requirement. By all means, we can attach it to something like the automated certification process, which is where they hit certification requirements, we hit them up essentially to get the details that we need so that they can get their certificate printed with their name and get it delivered and stuff. So if we want to tack a couple of extra steps in there, try and capture that information, I'm totally okay with that. That feels like a good place, but I don't know if I want it black and white. It's a certification requirement that you have to do this in order to
That's
graduate.
what we mean. We're on the same page. That's exactly what we mean.
Okay. Yeah, well, I'm okay with it, but that automated certification is still being worked out right now. And when we do release it, I'd like to release it as soon as we can. We want to know, what the outcomes of those particular questions that you're looking to ask are. Like, do they need to be put into a particular bucket, a list, some sort of, some sort of classification, so that we can then take this further.
I just know that what we wanted to do was ensure that we capture data from every single grad as they exit, so that we can compile that data, and also it's going to help with our metrics as well. So, and I know, Lucas, we're supposed to circle back as well. So, yeah, I just wanted to put it out there, and I'll be following up.
Yeah, I mean, for my part, surveying will handle a lot of the things that we have. I know it's slightly different exit interviews. What I see, what we're talking about right now, really being applied in is automating that whole process for you on the back end, David, so you can understand and get statistics on who's going what direction, and therefore, then you get groups of people to tap up consequent actions and stuff like that. That's kind of where I see it. It's more of like a sorting exercise rather than like a deep dive for information. But happy to talk about it, guys. Just bring me into that conversation at the opportune time.
Great.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Nice. And we'll have more space for these types of conversations with our longer meeting format. Om, take it away.
My biggest focus this week is to implement the lead scoring model that the data scientists developed last week. I need to figure out a way to implement in our current operations. The second would be actually assigning dedicated owners as CCs instead of the older process where we would assign WCs and move to CCs. And the third would be the alert system. It's outdated, and according to CCs, it's the most important emails that they get, which creates urgency to contact the user as soon as possible. So these will be the top 3 focuses for this week.
Love it.
Okay, great. And note, Om, that we've determined that we're going to share the top 1, but we'll play with it. But that's cool. And then at the end, Om, just ask if there's any feedback or input.
Yeah, any feedback?
Or however you want to say it. Yeah.
If you need any thoughts on the lead scoring stuff, just let me
tomorrow.
know.
Tomorrow meeting,
Okay.
Matt. Yeah.
I love just hearing,
cool.
oh, I'm going to be fixing the most important thing. So that's what I heard. So
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Good job, Om.
Awesome. Okay, very good. So just to be clear, Libby, Tracy is not in the sheet, is not going to be in the weekly thing, right?
She's not going to be in the weekly alignment meeting. She's just going to give updates to Val, and Val and/or Erica can report on her stuff.
But will she have a slot in the sheet?
No.
Okay. But Val and Rosie will.
Lucas, just to confirm, Rosie is supposed to be in the sheet, but she's not going to be on the meeting. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And will you be reporting on anything that she says in the sheet, or no, that's just for her own organization? Okay, great. And then Val.
If it's valuable.
Perfect. Okay, great. And then Val is in the meeting, right? She'll be in this meeting.
Yes, and she is on vacation this week, so she will be back next week.
Great. Okay, good. I have 2 quick just logistical things that I forgot to mention. That with many of you, we finished your personal games. With some of you, I just need like 15 minutes if we just need to finish or dial in. So I'm going to follow up with a meeting request for that. Really nice job, everybody, in digging in and really picking something that's going to rock your world. And then finally, I just wanted to show you that we've added in a Gantt chart here, if you can see screen. We're still determining if we can put these start end dates over in the goal zone and have these port over into this chart. But our goal is to have you be able to visually see the timing of your different goals and projects so that you can better tell what to work on during a certain week. It also help you kind of map out how you're getting everything done than just leaving it to chance. Okay. All right, everybody. Eric, anything you want to say in closing?
I guess just, Matt, I want to follow up with the M-Body opportunity that you're exploring. I have a renewed feeling of like that's a real winning strategy for us. So I just want to put that out there. And no, and I just love this. Erica kind of put this idea right in my head around redefining the life coach. And I think that's a beautiful phrasing that I'm really going to take to heart. And I like what's cultivating and brewing around that idea for us. And is there anything else around that? Yeah, just David, just in regards to this focusing on the whale. Who are the whales? And I'd love to just like narrow that down and just get really specific on what we want to, no better place than just to get clear on what we want to do to pitch them. So
Yeah.
But I'm super excited for where we are.
Amen.
All right, everybody. Nice job. Look for a few emails coming out your way. Get those metrics done this week. I'm going to post the main things that we stated in this meeting as deliverables for you guys, like metrics and things of that nature, in the game channel in Slack.
Raj, we didn't talk about recording the call. I just wanted to see
Great.
really quick. Basically, Raj, just so you guys that don't know, when you host a Zoom meeting and you then have to record and publish, there is some time associated with that. So one of the things we're wondering is, do we need to be doing that each week? First of all, when people are off, we aren't requiring them to participate. Is there value in having the call recorded, or do we need to expend that time or not?
I really want to expend that time.
Great.
Okay,
Totally
we
done.
just wanted to make sure that it was valuable so that we'll continue to do it.
Beautiful.
And yep, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
No
All right,
problem.
everybody. Have a great week. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.